Hey yo, this is another episode of the Steven from the Old Time Podcast. Listen to my dad, he's awesome.
Welcome to a new episode of Steven from the All Time Podcast. I am your host, the Ayatollah of this shit, the whole damn show, the rated R podcaster, a revolutionary, a visionary, and probably one of the happiest men on the planet right now. And we'll get into it because we've crowned a new intercontinental champion
We started with the Sami Zayn hate.
with my co-host this evening.
Hey, what's up, all-timers? You already recognize the voice. It's the most handsome podcaster in the world, the greatest there is, the greatest there was, and the greatest there ever will be, Derek Alltime.
Hey, and you already know who it is, your favorite co-host, the Black Eric Bishop, the other half of the podcast tag team champions, the world's strongest podcaster as well, EO Sky's boyfriend, as Steven likes to say. It is me, Trap all time, ladies and gentlemen.
And we have a special guest, a first timer on the pod for the Fatal 4-Way, for the Summer Slam episode. He is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have arrived. I am him, the Black Phenom, the showstopper, the podcast talker, the man, the head of the table, Harlem own, what everybody's saying, Cavallo. Yeah. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Welcome, Cavallo. It's great to have you here. And don't forget,
before we start,
right.
please, people, like and subscribe. We're going to give you 5 seconds to like and subscribe before we get into this wonderful episode.
Yes.
All right. So hopefully you liked and subscribed, and we're back.
And we bring you nothing but the best in hip-hop and wrestling, all combined in one. Boys, Summer Slam, we're going to get right into it because we have a lot to talk about. Let's be honest. What a night. What a night. It was kind of, for me, before we get into it, overwhelming because I expected so much, and at the same time, I got everything I was expecting. It was nice. It was good. It's for a change with WWE pay-per-views. I really sat back and was able to take everything in and be like, this is where we should be. This is what we should be getting. This is one of the 4 big ones. We should be getting this much all combined in one. And
it feels good when you get what you expected, right?
But me and Derek was over last night, and we were talking about it throughout it, and it was just so interesting. There was so much happening. There was no like, this sucks. This is boring. There was none of that, right, Derek?
No, I mean, we'll get into the matches, but overall, all the stories that led into the matches, for the most part, were very well crafted. They had been dragged out for a few weeks. We were invested in those storylines. So to have those storylines actually come to a close, or some of them will be being pushed going forward, I think they're setting everything up. And I think it was one of the first pay-per-views in a long time where there was a lot of changes, and Triple H wasn't afraid to stir the pot, stir the shit. And I think we came out of it in a new era hopefully a new era in terms of where those pay-per-views are going to go from WWE. So it's interesting to see where it's going to go from there.
So this to be like one of the big 4s. I feel like this is the first pay-per-view where it was literally straight match after match. There was no segments in between. There was no like extra stuff going on. Like, it was literally, once a match ended, they showed you the preview for the next match, and it's like just all wrestling. That's one of the things I actually liked about yesterday.
Yeah, you're right on that point, because they always end up spending 20 minutes, 30 minutes on just segments throughout that kind of don't go with the show.
Right.
Besides the attendance they do now every time, which annoys me, it was literally just match after match. No one came out. No one had a comic, a comedic segment. It was just all.
No, they did. They had one with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller.
I forgot about that.
But the Miz was, but that don't count because
he was the host, though.
Yeah, he was the host.
He was a host that was non-existent. He was there at the beginning and then there at the middle, but a host is technically supposed to be there every match. No, it's like a host of a
I don't
wedding.
know.
Yeah, but the
Shout out to
WWE,
Maurice.
yes. Shout out to
Maurice looked amazing
Mont-
yesterday. Oh my god.
Montreal. Let's go. But yeah, and I think to everyone's point, when's the last time you remember a host in a pay-per-view actually making a difference?
Mm,
They're just
Not really.
there. They say they're hosting, but you don't see them. They're not the ones
They're not there.
announcing anything. They're not getting involved or whatever the case may be. At that point, let's just get rid of the host. We don't need it. Triple H already shows up. We know he's going to talk, so let's just keep the attendance to the end, to the press conference at the end, and let's not have those ridiculous kind of cringy segments or whatever the case may be. Like, let's just get rid of that.
absolutely.
That's my call.
We're gonna break down the matches. We got 7
We're
matches to
gonna try
break down.
the matches.
Well, we're gonna do probably a fantastic job at it, and you're gonna be on a totally different subject regarding Io Sky that was not even at the event.
I know.
You're sad?
She's gonna be there. Not even. Because she's gonna be on Raw tomorrow, Monday Night Raw.
Let's hope. Let's see what happens with her. Let's see if she could fit into a storyline. I don't think right
I
now.
told you the championship is the next storyline for her.
We're gonna get into if she's able to fit into this. With the opening match of the evening. Derek, kick this one off.
Great
Absolutely.
match, by the way.
Yeah. So opening match was Mommy Rhea Ripley against Liv Morgan. That's right, for the marbles for the championship with a guest, I guess you could call in Mommy's corner, which was Dom Mysterio. We know there's been a little bit of a drama going on there. Last week we saw Dom Mysterio. Mommy was upset about it. Dom Mysterio just basically went out and said, "Hey, listen, Liv, I don't care about you. I'm with Mommy. It is what it is." So we had Dom in Rhea's corner. So it was probably going to even the odds a little bit. Overall, the match I think was really good. I think Rhea Ripley, we know what we get in a ring with Rhea Ripley. We get probably the best female wrestler in the business right now. At the most charismatic one, the most over heel babyface, whatever it is, she's the most over in the world right now. There's no one on her level. And we had Liv Morgan, someone who has been fairly criticized in the past for not necessarily being the greatest in the ring. She's gotten significantly better in the ring. She's gotten much, much, much better. We had a few good spots in that match. The pace of the match was really, really good. There wasn't any lengths in the match or periods where it felt like it was slowing down. It was pretty much fast, straight to the point, and it was still a pretty long match for an opening match. Towards the end of the match, we saw Dom sort of getting involved in the match. We've seen Rhea maybe getting upset, trying to get back at Liv Morgan for hurting her, wanted to hit her with a chair. Dom stepped in because everyone knows you can't win a championship by disqualification. And we thought that Dom was definitely in Mommy's corner, only to attract her to the ropes, slide the chair to Liv Morgan, and Liv Morgan to put her finisher on Rhea Ripley and win all of the marbles and have, for what appears to be the first time in at least 10 years, we had a makeout session between Dom Mysterio and Liv Morgan. So Dom is not with Mommy after all. Dom is with Liv Morgan. So going to see forward where this goes is going to be really, really interesting. We'll get into a little bit more in terms of how Judgment Day sort of all fits into this, because there's been quite a bit of drama recently. But overall, I think it was a good match. I think any match with Rhea Ripley, I think it's a chance to probably be the match of the evening. I wasn't disappointed by it. I think it was a great way to open the show. It was a good storyline, well told. It doesn't end there. We're gonna get more of this, so let's get after it. And I think did a good job.
I don't know where the storyline is gonna go. I kind of think it's gonna take a left turn to where, because of what's going on in Judgment Day, and we're obviously gonna get to that. It's gonna kind of shy away from the whole Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley feud, because there's a lot more between the Judgment Day now. I think Rhea's gonna have her hands full with Damian, Finn, on that side of the fence. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen. This would probably be a great opportunity for somebody else to come into the picture, whether it's a triple threat match with Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, I would name, and Liv. Like, bring somebody else and bring another woman into the picture. Get something else going. Add more fuel to that fire, because you're gonna see a split between storylines going forward. I don't know what you guys think. This is what I would like to see from it, but we'll see.
I think I'm going to throw a curveball, and I think we might see, for the first time in a very long time, the first woman versus man match in WWE.
Really?
There's been times in the past when Mr. McMahon first went through his little debacle on the outside, where we've seen Nia Jax handle other male superstars in the ring. We've seen Rhea Ripley also. Chyna's done it. We've all seen that. I think going forward, Mommy not being afraid of anything or anyone, I think having her wrestle Dom Mysterio might be something that could get done. I do see that story being told once she's through with Liv Morgan. If she's through with Liv Morgan, maybe we'll get a match against Dom Mysterio. That's a possibility. I mean, I wouldn't exclude it from the realm of possibility. She's the biggest superstar you have. Why not?
I think y'all missing a big piece right now. Are y'all forgetting that Jey Uso be flirting with Rhea Ripley? I think they're gonna be a tag with Dom and Liv, and then Jay and Rhea. I don't think they're gonna intertwine and have Rhea dealing with Damian Priest and Finn. I think they're gonna let that be their own storyline, and I think they're gonna have Rhea stick with the Liv and the Dom storyline, and then Jey Uso gets added in there because he's not really doing anything right now, but he has been involved in saying yeet and stuff. So that's what I see.
That's a good point.
Because he's not a contention for a world heavyweight. So you got to do something with him, because
he'll probably never be.
He's already been involved
because he's already so old. Yeah,
you bring up a good point. That mixed tag match in wrestling was there for a while. It went away, and it's something that could come back. Speaking of The Miz and Maurice, they've had many mixed tag matches, and bringing that back could add something else. I don't mind that stuff. I really don't mind that stuff. And you want to see Rhea hit Dom. You want to see something like that.
But how do you feel with Jey Uso being involved? Like, I feel like because he's so big, he shouldn't even be involved with this love triangle. Like, he doesn't like Rhea Ripley like that to be
what you mean?
But
Rhea Ripley is big herself. Like, Rhea Ripley, as far as female, you could argue with most males, she's the most over WWE superstar. So that makes sense. No, I'm talking about Rhea Ripley. So it makes sense
for Jay to be there.
It's just that, it makes sense for Jay to be there. Rhea Ripley is just as over, or is not.
But why would he be her tag partner? Like, where does he come in at? Is what I'm saying. Like, why would he be like? Okay.
Because he was flirting with her. He wanted to be with Mommy.
And Rhea's gonna want to get back at
Dom.
Yeah. So
I mean, okay.
I get what you're trying to say. Like, the way Jay is to the fans, why would he consider like a step down? But I don't think so, because Rhea Ripley is just as big, if not bigger, than Jey Uso.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, there's no place for him in that shuffle to be in a heavyweight contention championship with Gunther, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, like the people like that. He's not on that level.
He should be. He should be, though. He's the biggest.
If his ring, popularity wise, I get it, but as far as in ring talent, he doesn't deserve to be there. Now,
absolutely not. I agree with Trap 100%.
If his in ring talent gets better, then I could say that. But his work is sloppy. I'm tired of those open hand punches. He has the ugliest looking spear that I ever seen. Like, come on.
He just had a great match with the Tribal Chief last year. Are you forgetting the match he had?
Because
he's main event Jey Uso for a reason.
Because him and Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso, they all have kind of a similar style. And if you watch that match, who carried that match? Roman Reigns. So he looks
Cody
good.
Rhodes for the title and I watched it with you, and you said it was a great match. What are you talking about? Did you forget that?
Cavallo. In all fairness, you're the new guy on this podcast, so we got to call it out. Look at the two matches he's had with top shelf talent. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. Please remind me the match he had with his brother.
Was horrendous.
His brother, the guy he's supposed to have the most chemistry with in the entire business, and it was a super kick affair. It was trash.
No, you know what it is? They have the same character
skill set. That's why I don't want to see.
That's like Nick Jackson versus like his brother. They have the same. There's so many flips and kicks. You cannot compare the two. You can't compare the two.
Oh, you can. We'll see. We'll see. Hey, listen, man. I give you the benefit of the doubt. If this happens, all kudos to you. I think the three other ones of us, have had it a little bit with Jey Uso, to be perfectly honest.
Before
I liked him when he was a tag team because he fits better with that. But
I like having Cavallo on because this could bring a big feud between Trap and Cavallo.
We feud all the time. We feud all the time in text. I tell him all the time, like, no, this is gonna happen, and then Trap. Am I always right? I'm always right when it comes to this. I should be a booker. I saw that about you and Steven. I always tell Steven that too. Y'all should be a booker. Yeah, because I know what's supposed to go on.
Let's move on to probably the most exciting part of my evening.
Of course.
That time he had mac and cheese, by the way. Around that time he had the mac and cheese. He was looking forward to that mac and chease.
Oh, I had the mac and cheese.
You probably got a boner by the end of that match, right?
I was excited. Look,
what was said in that room by the people in that room will forever stay in that room because it wouldn't fly on the podcast.
I know. He got a boner.
We have the Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn, putting his title on the line for the second time against Braun Breaker. The match was
was the match kind of quick?
That was my first point of the whole match. The match started off well. The match started off well. It was a back and forth. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker. You saw there was a quickness in the match, and I'm talking about each individual superstar. But the match itself was 6-7 minutes. Like, it wasn't a long match. It felt even quicker than that. At one point, it's like, okay, he speared him. He speared him a second time. 1, 2, 3. Braun wins.
As it should be. He's been killing everybody for the last month and a half.
To your point, is I was thinking about it because we were all watching. We were like, wow, this match went by fast. There's nothing. What happened? But I think it was meant for two reasons to happen. They wanted to add more to the rest of the card, especially what was happening at the end of the card. But also, the feud's been going on for a good month and a half, 2 months, to where they've gotten in the ring together. There's been so much back and forth between them that you look at the character of Braun Breaker and you want him to annihilate Sami Zayn. But Sami Zayn, for some odd reason, he's over and the WWE pushes him. But they've started to realize how of a downgrading act that Sami Zayn actually is. Because, let's be honest, last pay-per-view, he didn't get the pop he usually gets. Raw's, last night when he came out, he wasn't getting the pops that he usually gets. I'm not saying anything about the way he is in the ring. That's a totally different side of Sami Zayn. It's just that they're starting to realize that his character is not good. It's stale milk. So they're like, okay, SummerSlam, one of the big fours. How can we make this impactful? Let Braun Breaker beat him as quick as possible, and let's move on. There was no substance to the match. I get that. But Braun Breaker had to win. And they weren't going to fight for 25 minutes, 30 minutes. They did 6-7 minutes, in and out. Braun Breaker is the champion. Let's move on. And you saw Sami Zayn crying outside of the ring after the match was over. It was done. Braun Breaker beat him. Sami Zayn, and I'm going to ask you, Derek, next, because I see you want to say something. Sami Zayn said he was going to beat him, and he didn't. And Braun Breaker is the new Intercontinental Champion, and Braun Breaker is going to take the Intercontinental Champion to a whole different plateau. Sami Zayn was keeping the title here. Everybody else is going to bring it that way. Now let's see what's next for Sami Zayn. What storyline are we going to put Sami Zayn in? Where do we want Sami Zayn to go? Put him on the shelf for a couple of months. Give him a year off. We don't need to see him in the business. There is no storyline for him. It's over. Let's keep him out of here. Be like the rest of the people in Montreal where you come from. No ambition, 9 to 5s, and stay home. We don't need you. I'll find you a job where I work. Come work with me. We'll hang out all day. We do not need you because now we have a real, true intercontinental champion in the name Braun Breaker.
He doesn't need that type of hate.
Is there anything else we have to say? Does anybody else want to add, or can we move on to the next match?
I don't know what to say after that. Because...
I will say this. He did beat Gunther at WrestleMania, which was a big deal. We can't just make this guy who beat a great champion easily. He had to have some kind of fight in him. We can't just make him like a squash match. He still is Sami Zayn. Whether you like him or not, he still is Sami Zayn. So, yeah, it might have been a quick match, but we couldn't have him just come in and spear him and pull a Brock and Goldberg. Like, we can't do that. So, I think it was just fine like the way it was. I feel like he got his little offense on, but we all expected Braun Breaker to win, and I feel like it went the way it is. Now, him being on the show for a year is a little steep, but, you know, I want to see where it goes after this. We can stay in the Intercontinental title region with the others.
Yeah. Whatever, but his career is going down. It's going down.
He's been here for how many years? I mean, I would assume it's going down. There's other new guys coming in, so yeah, I wouldn't be upset if it was going down. I don't want to see him push like others who shouldn't be pushed, but we'll get to that another time.
Before we move on, something I want to add about wrestling, and we're all four guys that have been watching wrestling for a very long time. There is so much that you could do with a certain character. And a certain character like Sami Zayn, there is no you can't reinvent that. You can't do anything else with the character. You can't. He fought Johnny Knoxville at a WrestleMania for a reason because there was nothing else to do with a character like that. So they had to make
it a great match, though.
It was a great match for a 12-year-old.
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, but that's different. About? This is a match that was a match for a 12-year-old kid who likes Jackass.
So he was entertained? He was not entertained?
No. I just don't like Sami Zayn. I don't think he's at the level he should be at. Let's move on to the next match before we get personal. Chop, take it away.
The next match we got, United States champion Logan Paul versus the challenger L.A. Knight. Yeah. I want to say this match was good. I just want to say the feud and the build up to the match I thought was great. With all the antics that were happening, LA Knight showing up to Logan Paul's house, constantly antagonizing each other back and forth. So I thought just the build up and the story surrounding the match, I thought was also excellent. So that's one thing that I like about it. The storytelling is great, and that also makes for a great match. So, you know, SmackDown, LA Knight steals Logan Paul's prom truck, gets under his skin some more, shows up to the arena today in his prom truck, smashes his window. They come out and whatever. Before the match, before the bell even rings, Logan Paul attacks LA Knight as of course a typical heel would do. They get it on for a good 5-10 minutes. Finally,
outside of the ring,
yes,
which I enjoyed.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of the match. Like before the match even started, so it kind of made it feel like, yeah, this is really personal. Like, you know, so like really diving into the story. So I thought that was great to see. Then they get back in the ring. Finally, when the match starts, they trade blows back and forth. Of course, they go back outside the ring. LA Knight attacks some of Logan Paul entourage, the same people that always gives him the brass knuckles. This time he reveals they don't have it. Who has it? Machine Gun Kelly has it as a chain. Logan Paul uses it, but it doesn't work. LA Knight hits him with the BFT. Boom. He's the new United States champion, which I love. That pop that LA Knight got was fucking phenomenal.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. I'm glad they made the right choice to finally put the belt on LA Knight, because I felt like if they didn't, he's like overdue. Like, after Rhea Ripley, Cody, Jey Uso, who's the most over when it comes to like as far as fandom?
LA
LA
Knight.
I
Knight.
will, I
LA
will, I will
Knight.
put him over Jay. I will put him over. He had his pop for over a year. Jay is just
Yeah.
getting the. LA
Yeah.
Knight has been popular for quite
Right.
some time. I'll put him over Jay, honestly.
The
Yeah.
great thing about LA Knight, and
But
I wanna say this, and I think it's important. You're talking about pops. You're talking about how over they are. I have a 8-year-old kid. Okay, he gravitates towards LA Knight more than anybody else. LA Knight gets so much attraction by different age brackets.
yeah, he does.
It's like that's what he brings to the table.
Mhm.
Jey Uso is more for the kids, I find, because of the yeet. But LA Knight gets every single age bracket. I don't
Because
like
he's
the.
also a wrestler. I think what it is too, because LA Knight is also a wrestler. Like his in-ring work is good, and he has that common appeal to like almost a common folk. Like I'm working hard, I'm getting here, so he appeals to that, which I think is also great. He appeals to the like the blue collar work and like because he's been doing it for a while. So I was happy to see that he did that.
Mhm.
The match was really good. They had some good spots. That spot where Logan Paul did the somersault off the rope, off the top rope to the
That was
outside.
insane.
That was
That was great.
insane. Like Logan Paul is a natural. Like you got to give it to Logan Paul, even
You
if you don't like him.
you can't take it
But
away of his athleticism in the
right,
ring. The stuff he puts his body on the line.
yeah,
Anybody who likes wrestling and anybody who doesn't watch wrestling and watches Logan Paul in the ring
you
gets
can't
blown
deny it.
away because
Yeah,
of the way he is in the ring, his
yeah,
athleticism, his techniques. He's a high flyer. So
yeah.
who asked me? Somebody, my cousin asked me. He's like, "What's Logan Paul's character?" And Derek, you hit the nail on the head with it. He's the most hated.
Yeah, it's Logan Paul. I mean, there was a thing. There's you want to cheer for the babyface and you want to boo the heels.
hmm
Dom Mysterio fits in that category where it's fun to boo him. Booing him is a thing. It's what's in style is booing Dom Mysterio. Booing
Right.
Logan Paul is a thing. And to your point, Steven, your cousin was asking me, he's like, well, when does Logan Paul lose? And before the match, I said, Logan Paul loses the day that he's in his hometown and his own hometown boos him because of how much they hate him. That's when Logan Paul loses. And that's what
And
happened
that's when he
yesterday.
lost.
That's
Yep.
what happened yesterday. That's when you know that you're the most hated man in all of professional wrestling. CM Punk still goes to Chicago. It could be the biggest heel in the world. He goes to Chicago, they'll cheer him. Logan Paul is hated. It's fun to hate Logan Paul because he lies, he cheats, he steals. He's like Eddie Guerrero. When Eddie Guerrero was a heel, you wanted to hate him so much, but that was the style. And I pulled up a quote while we were talking about LA Knight. There's a quote that goes, charisma is the intangible that makes people want to follow you, to be around you, and to be influenced by you. That's LA Knight. In WWE right now, you would be hard pressed to find someone with more natural gravitas and charisma than LA Knight. There is no one that when the camera is on him looks better than he does. There's no one who has that natural way of talking, who cuts a promo the way he is. He's gotten better on the mic. And the reason why a lot of times it felt forced, it's because people were writing it for him. If you give LA Knight the clear lane, he's like a Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's like a Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He's like a John Cena. He'll take it to the moon because he just has that natural charisma behind him. And that's why everyone bought into the LA Knight thing.
Yeah.
Anyone else wouldn't do it. But because it's him and he has that charisma, that's why it works. And now you arguably have the most charismatic champion in LA Knight as the United States champion. And might I add, I do want to say he looked really good in that match. There's matches in the past where I've critiqued him. He looked slow. He looked a little bit older. He held up his own against Logan Paul. That kudos to Logan Paul too. Logan Paul can have a match with my dead grandma and he would make her look like a superstar. He made LA Knight look fantastic. Love the match. It's what had to happen, and I'm glad it did.
Yep.
I will say this though. I feel like him and Rhea Ripley are the only two tweeners that got the crowd behind them on their own. They didn't have to get pushed. They didn't have to turn babyface to get the pop they wanted.
That's true.
LA Knight could feud with a heel or babyface. He's still gonna get a pop. Rhea Ripley could fight a heel or babyface. She's still gonna get a pop. Those are the only two right now currently who didn't have to change characters that got a natural pop. Don't talk about my uncle. That get a natural pop. Like, you know, like, but I think that's why he's also big, because it was natural for him. Like, he didn't have to be forced. He still kept his promo the same way he was. He makes his little jokes, but it feels natural. So,
facts.
I don't know where it's gonna go now. I don't know if there's gonna continue LA Knight Logan Paul feud. I think Logan Paul's gonna take some time off, and I think he's injured as well. But I'd like to see LA Knight in a couple of good feuds. I'd like to see LA Knight against Andrade. I'd like to see LA Knight against Carmelo Hayes. You know, like, you could do wonders with a full-time U.S. champion.
Yeah, you can.
Who else is heel? Who else is heel in the mid card besides Carmelo Hayes and Logan Paul?
Whoever they decide to put.
Yeah.
At that point, they could really put anyone. We all know what's going to happen, and the biggest thing that can happen, and we all know, LA Knight right now, they're going to find the other most charismatic guy on the SmackDown roster, and they're just going to cut promos for about a month before they go into a feud. Because right now, how do you do that? You could have the most phenomenal wrestler in the world, but if he can't hold up a mic next to LA Knight's going to lose all the steam in the world because he's going to be alone on his island. And you can't have that. So now you need to find a guy who's good, who's a good talker, who still looks good in the ring, and they're going to keep doing that. It might push some young superstars we haven't heard of in a while.
It might be Carmelo Hayes. It might be him.
They
could be Kevin Owens. It could be Randy Orton. All guys who are pretty decent on the mic too.
There could be some good things for LA Knight coming up. We'll move on to the next match with Nia Jax versus Bayley for the women's champion.
Who's getting that one? Cavallo?
No, I'll talk about it. I'm just happy that this match was actually good. Like, this was an enjoyable match for me. I like the bigger superstar. I like the bigger superstar versus a faster superstar.
What do you mean?
Remember when Bret Hart used to fight Yokozuna style?
Yes.
It was enjoyable to watch. This was kind of like the same thing. I put in the same category.
Nia Jax is Yokozuna.
Nia Jax is not quick.
I mean,
Nia Jax can do 1,000 moves. She's a powerhouse. She can't be. She's not a fast superstar. She is a big superstar. But she held her own against Bayley. Yeah. Bayley, first of all, is a phenomenal superstar. She is great in the ring. I don't care what anybody says. Her character, I'm not a fan of. I find it stale. Okay, there's nothing to it.
Bayley.
Okay, but they put on a good match, and this is the type of match you want from your bigger superstar versus your fast-paced superstar. And the outcome of the match with Nia Jax winning the championship after Tiffany Stratton comes out.
That was the only one I was shocked at. I thought Bayley was going to really retain, but then I like it though.
Well,
her title reign has been so stale. Yeah, I haven't been interested in Bayley's. Her leaving the Damage Control was supposed to be like this big outcome, and once she left and they moved Damage Control, it was like, who was she really feuding with? Like, they had her with Piper Niven. Who's paying for that? I just haven't been interested in it. So
Bayley is Sami Zayn.
Oh,
Bayley is the Sami Zayn Bayley is the Sami Zayn. She has had the same character for a long time. It feels like stale milk. They're not the greatest on the mic. They're good in the ring, but other than that, they're not really doing it for you. And just like the Sami Zayn match, Braun Breaker came in, broke him in half, and now Nia Jax came in and broke her in half.
No, but it wasn't the character that was it was the title reign, the storyline they had her in. Going from the big, the Damage Control storyline was they led up a lot of months with them betraying her. We already seen it happening. And then once you finish with Damage Control, they have you with Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. I just felt like it was a downgrade, and I just think it was bad on the writers to have her, in those kind of matches. I feel like it could have been better. Like, I don't think it was her character that was stale. The storylines that was stale. I don't agree.
You gotta take the belt off them. Do something different. Now you have a powerhouse as your champion. You have a powerhouse. Who is gonna step in the ring with Nia Jackson? And
I can't wait to her and Jade fight for that title.
No, Jay's not ready.
She's not ready.
She's not ready yet.
But,
I know.
But this is something that you want to see. This is something you want to see.
Bianca Belair can fight her. That could be a good match. Charlotte coming back. Charlotte's almost ready to come back from injury. That could be a good match.
You could do so much with this, and you know what? It's good that she won. There's a lot that's gonna happen now, and that Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax kind of friendship is gonna go left eventually, and it's gonna blow over, and she's gonna probably cash in the Money in the Bank and either lose or win, and we'll see.
I love Tiffy time.
So, we're gonna move on to the next match, probably the most hyped match in wrestling, and probably since Roman Cody. Like this is big. This has been going back and forth since Royal Rumble.
Is that?
Yeah, Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
Oh God.
He loves Drew McIntyre.
You have the Drew McIntyre. You have the pop figure. This is your match. This is something me and you have been going back and forth with for months on what's gonna happen. Look, it was enjoyable, but I found it was underwhelming. Take it away.
I will agree on the underwhelming part. And I will say that it just goes to show everyone that there's levels to this game. There's some superstars who get older and slow down and can still do it. And they don't lie to themselves. They just find a different way to do it in their capacity. Triple H got older, Undertaker got older, Shawn Michaels got older, Sting got older, and everyone was able to do it within a certain capacity. Punk is getting older, and I'm not gonna lie, he looked like a guy that got older. He definitely did. He's a guy who's been hurt, and he was in there with a bigger, faster, stronger, more talented superstar in an era where the WWE is really going forward with these more athletic, these more explosive superstars than when Punk was first there. When Punk was first there, the superstars were more of the old school kind of guys. Let's just hit hard, big spot, boom, move on to the next thing, big spot, move on to the next thing. Now there's a lot of in between that goes on, a lot of technical stuff, a lot of stuff outside where they really showcase their athleticism. And I think for the most part, I think Drew McIntyre carried that match. I think Punk showed his age. He showed that he's gotten older. I will say this, though. It is his first match back in a significant amount of time. He needs to get his legs under him. I'm sure he will. He's a professional. He's an athlete. I'm sure he'll get there. But the match was underwhelming for the simple fact that Punk just didn't look good. Punk didn't look like a guy at any point in the match like he could win. Whenever Drew was on the offense, it looked like Drew had this locked. It didn't look like Punk was in the match in any capacity other than certain spots. But overall, maybe for 2 minutes? And what happened. Drew McIntyre won, pinned Punk. There's a little bit of drama in terms of how that happened with Punk getting distracted and so on and so forth. But I just think it's a fitting story. Punk the whole time has been telling Drew McIntyre he's been just focused on him and he's getting distracted and so on and so forth, only for Punk to now be the one that's distracted, and that costs him the match. Yeah, it was underwhelming, but ultimately we got the result that I believe is the right one. It's just curious to see where this is going to go from there. They've been setting up the whole Punk Rollins kind of thing, so I think this might drag on for a little bit. We saw Drew McIntyre take the bracelet back at the end. I do want to shout out Seth Rollins in terms of being a referee. It was
special guest referee.
I'm sorry. I don't feel like he made necessarily a difference in the match, but his personality definitely added something to the match. The interactions he had with each wrestler, you didn't know who he was going for. He seemed like he was rooting for both and so on and so forth. I did like that they intertwined that story in there. A lot of times for me, the special guest referee kind of feels stale. It feels like it doesn't really have a purpose or whatever the case may be. But in this one, I do feel like it added to the storyline. So yeah, I'm not going to go and say that this was the match of the night because it clearly wasn't. But, I'm a fan of Drew McIntyre. So anytime Drew McIntyre wins, I win. It's good news for everyone. So,
question. Did everybody see after Punk laid out Rollins counted to 3 and left quickly from the ring?
Took his referee shirt off and stormed out like he was upset.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, there's always something weird when I see Punk and Rollins in the ring together. Like, I think they're still actually going at it, and they want to do what's right for the business, but they're just going to go on to each other and do things that is not part of the storyline. I kind of see that, especially after he laid them out with the move. Rollins leave. That's not in his character to do that. I find that odd. I find that weird. Or maybe that's what it is, and that's how it's going to end up to the next story, where maybe on Monday Night Raw we'll have a Rollins attack Punk. But it was an underwhelming match. I thought Rollins could have been more involved in the match. I didn't find him very. Like he kind of felt like he shouldn't have been there. He didn't feel comfortable being there. I also found the match went by quick. I think it could have been longer. I think but I think CM Punk's cardio didn't let him because he has zero cardio. Like, the guy was out of fucking breath, like, in the first 12 seconds of the match. And let's be honest with each other. And to Derek's point, and it's something I really want to add, Drew McIntyre is a phenomenon in the ring. He is by far probably top 5 guys in the ring right now that can hold a match. He's a powerhouse. He's what, 6'4"?
6'5".
He's
6'5", 275.
Okay. The dude is like for him to be that tall and be able to carry himself with speed in the ring. The dude.
And Gunther for the title, gonna be crazy.
He has the bracelet. He has CM Punk's bracelet, the $1.50 bracelet.
Why are you making that face, Cavallo? Sorry.
So
no, because he don't like them two big guys fight. That's his thing.
It depends who the two big guys. If it's the fucking Great Khali versus fucking Undertaker, I get that. The Great Khali is not mobile in the ring, but you have Vince McMahon is gone, so you have good mobile big wrestlers. Vince McMahon loved the Great Khali. The Great Khali was 8'10". Okay, and they put him in the Punjabi prison match to do nothing. You couldn't even eliminate him. His legs weren't able to bend. But you have a guy like Drew McIntyre and you have a guy like Gunther. You have these big, tall guys that are mobile. And that's what's amazing about a match like this. And he made CM Punk look good.
I will say this. That match was underwhelming, and not only because CM Punk looked out of breath, which I agree, and I love me some Phil Brooks. He did look out of breath. I went back and watched this match over just this match. There was 19 minutes. The match was 19 minutes. There was 11 minutes of just talking and them being face-to-face arguing about a bracelet. There was 9 minutes out of 19 of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
That's horrible. I did not enjoy that match. I don't like them getting each other's face and they're like, hit him. No, do that. Where's the fighting at? It's about a bracelet. I didn't think that Seth Rollins needed to be there. I feel like if anything, they should have added him and made it a triple threat since they all don't like each other. Him taking the bracelet back and then Seth Rollins putting it on, it just didn't make sense to me. I didn't think that you even care about a bracelet. You don't like CM Punk. Why you want his bracelet on? None of it made sense to me. I feel like this was like one of the worst written. I got to look back and see who produced this match. It just wasn't good at all. It was like the worst match to me besides the Nia Jax and Bayley. This was like, I was so disappointed. And I expected so much out of them. Like, if you have more talking than fighting, it just, on a PLE, one of the top 4, it didn't make sense to me at all.
I get where you're coming from. And I don't know in which direction this feud is going to go now. He has the bracelet. So Punk is going to go after him. He wants the fucking $1.50 bracelet. So, yeah. Or it's going to be a
Berlin.
Or it's going to be a triple threat match.
And then ended at Bad Blood? Bash in Berlin,
Back,
and
then
The
Bad Blood.
the,
Oh.
yeah, so we get ended at Bad Blood.
yes, between McIntyre and Punk, but
Oh, all of them.
this feud between Punk and Rollins is going to go till WrestleMania. And then after that it's done. They'll shake hands, hug, make a
And then
bracelet
CM
together.
Punk hopefully leave.
Make a
right?
bracelet together.
So, next match, Trap.
Oh, the next match we got the World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest versus the Ring General / King of the Ring Gunther. Oh man! Before we go, I just must say I actually like Damian Priest's reign. I feel like him having a title kind of elevated his character, like towards the end wise.
Towards the end.
Yeah, I feel like his character kind of elevated to where I originally put Damian Priest to be. So I kind of did enjoy his title reign a little bit, but to start off the match, they pretty much got into a brawl. Damian Priest came out strong, overpowering Gunther. There was some big chops going on in that match that I love. Like that's that old school. Like I like to say, my grandma wrestling. Like they were. That's that grown man wrestling. Like there was some big chops being thrown. Like Gunther was bleeding. I'm like, oh, they was watching AEW the other night.
Yo,
Nah. So yeah, but I just thought it was a overall I thought it was a good match. I thought Damian Priest held his own. I thought Gunther held his own. They had some really good spots showcasing their strength. That power bomb that Gunther hit Damian Priest with, I thought was amazing. And then that raises edge that he threw with Gunther, I thought Gunther was gonna go through the ring. So of course we already know the outcome. His favorite, the guy from the Judgment Day, Finn Balor comes out, puts Gunther foot on the rope. Gunther, and then Damian Priest is distracted by that the whole time. Kept going after Finn Balor outside. Gunther hits him with a power bomb, puts him in the sleeper, and then that's the end. I thought that was a good way to kind of end the match. It doesn't make it seem Damian Priest like he got pinned. Not basically him being interfered made it seem like he didn't really lose to Gunther fair and square. So I guess they could kind of continue that going if they want to. So I kind of like the way that it ended like that. If they don't want to go with him and Finn Balor feud, but overall, I thought the match was a pretty good match. Overall, I think Gunther winning the belt was the right decision at this time because if he didn't win it during this time, I don't think it wouldn't make sense. And plus, what they want to do with Damian Priest. Damian Priest was a good champion. Like I said, I did enjoy his reign towards the end. Maybe if they would have did it better during the beginning, they could have extended it more. But it's time for Gunther. He held the Intercontinental title for too long. There was nothing else for him to do but to get the World Heavyweight Champion. So I thought that was the good decision. And overall, great match.
It was a great match because they kept it in the ring. It was an old school fighting match. It was move, chop, submission. There was a lot going on. It was a very interesting match as well. To the point of what we were just talking about, two big dudes, two 6'4" plus dudes in size, very mobile in the ring, going at it. It added more to the story. It added to we're gonna fight, and the winner's gonna come up. The strongest man is gonna come up on top, and it was Gunther. But at the end of it, I was like, "Fuck! I wish Damian Priest would have won. I wish Damian Priest. Look, at the beginning, we want Gunther to be the heavyweight champion. Okay, I know I do. Because I like those powerhouse champions where they could have the champion for 6 to 8 months to even a year, and everybody is going through them, and they cannot win till one guy comes, and wins, and is able to beat him. But Damian Priest's reign towards the end was getting more interesting, and getting screwed out of the title to a certain extent, I was like, man, you could have given it to him until maybe Survivor Series and then make somebody beat him. So, but the Finn
what would
Balor
you do
thing,
with Gunther with all this time?
you could put Gunther in a bunch of feuds. You could put Gunther against Braun Breaker. You could do a bunch of things.
He don't need to be the Intercontinental Champion no more.
You need to make him into like a Brock Lesnar style of guy where it could just go smash everything and eventually win the champion. But Finn Balor, the thing that made me be like, yeah, this is cool. It's okay. He's going to have a feud with Damian Priest. Is that we got to take Finn Balor out of a tag team championship kind of storyline and add Finn Balor to where he needs to be. And that's in main events. That's in big storylines where it's Finn Balor against somebody. Bring back
that'd be a good match.
Bring back the Demon.
Yeah.
Bring back that New Japan Pro Wrestling. Bring back the Finn Balor who is in the ring and could fucking do everything. Bring that Finn Balor.
This is what I was saying. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the little Easter eggs that they was leaving around. Every time they showed the Judgment Day backstage, they will always have a demon face, either on a belt, on a briefcase. The Booker and me, because I love trying to think about how storyline supposed to be. I would have rather liked them play like a little bit of his music to distract Damian Priest, and then have him lose that way. And then he can play off like, oh, I don't know what happened. That wasn't me. Or even if he's out there in a music play and Finn Balor looks confused, like he don't know what's going on. But I think that they should have involved that because they kept showing his face as if like he's going to be involved. Like the way the cameras like are in their backstage segments. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it always show the demons, like the demon face on like one of their pieces that's in their room. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they should have used that in the match to like, make it a little more edgier, like, oh, because he's still a part of Judgment Day, he's still a tag team champion, so he could say, oh, I don't know what's going on, and they can prolong it. He could try to prove himself until the demon actually comes back. Yeah, like that's the way I would have done it. But I mean, I feel like it was cool with him putting his leg on the rope. But I need to see tomorrow what his explanation is. I know the last time Damian Priest cost Finn Balor the title, so I need to see is that the only reason why you did it, but. I don't know how I feel about this yet. I need to see where it goes from here and how they get the tag team titles off of Finn Balor, or if Damian Priest kicks Finn Balor out because he's the leader of Judgment Day. Like, I need to know where everybody lies after tomorrow.
Monday's I have a question for you guys.
Yeah, go.
Mm-hmm. And Trap said something before in which the fact that Finn Balor cost him the match and made Priest not lose like fair and square to Gunther. Gunther has been tearing through superstars for the better part of since he's been called up to the main roster. And even in his time in NXT, he was tearing through superstars.
When he was Fat Walter.
that match, I felt like the more physically dominant superstar for the most part of the match was Damian Priest.
Yeah. Me too.
And now having Gunther win the way he did, don't you guys feel like that takes away from Gunther absolutely tearing through everyone to a point where like you had matches with Drew McIntyre and Drew McIntyre wasn't able to do anything to you. You physically dominated him. You had a match with Sheamus, dominated him, so on and so forth. And now Damian Priest, even though Damian Priest is a champion, I'm not taking anything away from him. You needed help to beat a guy that no one wanted him to be champion and no one believed him and champion to begin with, and that's how you win. That for me, that takes all the momentum away from Gunther whatsoever. He does not look like a dominant superstar. He looks like a guy that needed help.
But he could also spin it and be like, he could also spin it and be like, I didn't ask her to help. One, like I didn't know
who was bleeding.
I didn't ask her to.
Gunther.
Yeah, he could spin it. But also too, when he was in Imperium used to interfere with a lot of
they was helping him all the time.
They were helping him. They were helping him. I'm not taking anything away from that whatsoever. However, every single match that Gunther has been, he's been chopping people into oblivion. He's been hurting them. And I was watching the match, and Damian Priest was putting a whooping on him. I'm sorry to say, boys, but like he was whooping his ass more than any superstar I've ever seen fight Gunther. To me, now that Gunther is champion and Priest put a beating on him that way, I don't know how Gunther goes forward in terms of being a dominant physical champion like he's been portrayed to be. This might just be me. This might just be me.
No, I understand what you're saying.
I don't know. I feel like if Gunther had to win, it had to be fair and square in the ring. No interference. There's another time to have Finn Balor interfere with Priest's business. That was not it.
Right.
I don't think it made a difference, though. I mean, because I don't think that Finn Balor did. I mean, all he does put his foot on the ropes, but I feel like he would have kicked out regardless. But I don't think he did too much to where it made a big impact on him winning. Like, it's not like he got hit with a, like got on the ropes and distracted the referee or hit him with a weapon. He just put his foot on the rope. And there wasn't even a finisher that he did, I don't believe. I got to go back. I don't know what Whoopi did, but I don't think it takes away from his skill. Because like I said, Damian Priest has been running Raw, whether we want to admit it or not, for over a year now. He's been one of the top guys. He has skill in the ring. So I don't want to knock him and make it seem like Gunther is supposed to just run through him. He is the world champion. You can't make the world champion look weak just because Gunther been beating other mid-card guys. So, I like the way they wrote how he won. Like, it doesn't make him look weak, but it also doesn't make Damian Priest look weak for losing.
Good point.
That's a good
So,
point.
main event time. The main event we've been waiting for. The highly anticipated main event. Cavallo, take this one away since you're our guest. You get the main event. Your main event, Cavallo.
Yeah, Cavallo.
Right, main event Cavallo. Yes, the
Main event.
between the American Nightmare, Cody
Cavalluso.
Rhodes. Right,
Cavalluso.
Sokoa. Yes, so the new tribal chief, Solo Sokoa versus the American Nightmare, Cody
Acknowledge
Rhodes.
him.
We are not going to acknowledge anything.
Acknowledge Solo Sokoa.
In a bloodline rules match. It was a very intense match. It was giving me WrestleMania all over again, but just with a different challenger. I expected the Tamatonga, Tangaloa, and Jacob Fatu to come out way early in the match. I feel like I like that they actually let Solo look strong. This is the first time I felt like he looked strong and actually was in control of most of the match. Then we had the return of Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, which I expected as well. So
Everybody expect. It's crazy because
Arn Anderson said, "Oh, you got some friends. They're
some
on
friends."
The way.
Yes,
I already knew.
I knew that.
All right, yeah, they come in.
and shout out to Arn Anderson.
I love seeing AA, man.
Because if you don't know when somebody puts this up, what this means, then you shouldn't be watching wrestling. You shouldn't be listening to this podcast because the man. I have an Arn Anderson toy at my parents' house, and he had the ponytail. That's old school Arn Anderson.
That's old school.
But sorry, I just wanted to give props to Arn Anderson and what he's done for wrestling.
It's always good seeing him, man.
Cavallo, the floor is back yours.
I'm glad to see him back with Cody Rhodes in WWE. I was shocked to see him. I didn't even know that he was able to be in that. I thought he was on AEW behind the scenes. But so once Cody Rhodes and once Kevin Owens and Randy Orton fought off Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, I was definitely looking forward to Jacob Fatu coming out. I'm a big fan of Jacob Fatu. I feel like he's really great. I feel like he's one of the best in the bloodline. And once
for sure.
he was, for sure. Once he was beaten, go ahead.
What's the other brother's name? Tangaloa, Loa Tonga. What's the one that's horrendous?
Tangaloa. Oh my god, I don't know what's going on with him. But
there's the corner, and you have Cody Rhodes. It's not hard. Was it Cody Rhodes or Kevin Owens? You needed to put You needed to put Cody Rhodes and spear him into the corner, not into the side rope.
He's wearing an iPad, so I gave him some slack. He
does have an iPad. You can't see. He
does have an iPad on. But like I said, it was given definitely WrestleMania where Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns was beating up Cody Rhodes. He just kept kicking out. So I was like, once I seen Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa doing that to Cody Rhodes, I knew for sure Roman Reigns is gonna come out. Because once he kept kicking out,
I wasn't sure at first.
I knew once he kept kicking out with just them two in the ring, I was like, okay, he's coming. And then we heard that music, that WrestleMania theme.
I jumped so bad. I jumped so loud. I was like, oh shit.
That was one of the greatest returns, I feel like, since CM Punk. Like, that pop was crazy. And to see how far he's come with people booing him for years, when he tried to push him as a babyface, and then when he was a heel and it was, not really cheering for him, for him to get that reaction that I feel like they've been wanting him to get for so many years was really good.
51,000 people in unison hitting the big ooh,
Yeah, that was really good. So
amazing,
I
bro. In unison.
can't wait to see where it goes from here because I seen the stare down him and Cody has. I don't know where it goes from there. I don't know if he's gonna just let Cody slide for a while and handle bloodline business first, or if he's gonna act for his title shot and then Solo Sikoa interferes and then they continue their beef. But it was definitely one of a great main event, a great way to end off SummerSlam. It's probably one of the best endings of pay-per-view in a very long time. Well, I guess since WrestleMania. So yeah.
I want to touch on this a bit longer, especially about the Roman Reigns coming back, and the match was the match. Okay,
He's a needle.
I was having cheesecake during the match. Well, actually, Derek was cutting cheesecake for a bunch of other people, and I was eating cheesecake. The match was the match. I found once the interferences started, it started to get more exciting. Okay, like it was. Look, we know what Cody Rhodes does in the ring. Solo Sikoa has always looked weak in the ring. He doesn't. He's not dominant. We're expecting a Umaga dominance from Solo Sikoa because that's what his image is, but he doesn't give us that. I'll give him props though. The back and forth between Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa was good. To your point, this is probably the best he's looked in a ring against somebody, and that's probably because of the way Cody Rhodes wrestles. He's a student of the game. He knows how to put people over. He knows how to have a wrestling match. Towards the end is when the interferences, the Tamatongas, the Tongaloas, the Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is
a great man.
He's insanity. Okay, he is insanity. He reminds me of Umaga, but a skinnier version of Umaga that can go on the ropes and fucking backflip. Okay.
Did you see the first move he did? He ran in the ring and did a whisper and a win out of nowhere.
Two things could happen to a superstar like that. He gets terribly injured and loses a limb, or he goes far and everything is fine and dandy. His whole segment in that match was great. The RKO, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens coming back. It is what it is. We knew that was gonna happen. Did you see how long it took Randy Orton to get to the ring? But we knew that was gonna happen. They needed to give him a hand. But the whole thing of the match, to me, that was amazing, was you did not know when. Okay? You did not know when it was going to be the perfect moment for somebody else to come back. I thought towards the end, nothing was going to happen. I thought this was it. Cody Rhodes is going to win with 18 Cody Cutters. What's going to happen? But Roman Reigns came in at the perfect moment to where both of them were just laying flat in the ring. You're expecting Roman Reigns to come back when Solo Sikoa has full dominance in the ring, right? That's when you get this is when somebody is supposed to interfere. You've seen that numerous times throughout wrestling. That's when the person comes out. But they were both flat out onto the ground. You waited a good 5 seconds of them being on the ground, and then his music hit.
That's when I knew. When they both was on the ground and the camera started panning back to get more crowd in the camera, that's when I knew. And then the music hit. But I would have liked it better if they would have showed like the parking like backstage. You see like the black SUV that he be driving in pull up, and they all expected. Do you see Paul Heyman get out first? You just keep adding the pop. You see Paul Heyman get out first. Do you see Jimmy Uso get out? And then you see like they could have just kept adding on to it. Like I feel like they could have. That would have been good too. Like the return of all of them, and then they walking through. Now the cameras follow them through the backstage to the ring.
Yeah. That would have. That's for a Raw or SmackDown. That would have been too much for a pay-per-view. The way Roman Reigns walked to the ring, the part of the song that he came out to, his speed to the ring, his face to the ring, when he ran from the entrance to the ring, all that was perfection. He came out there as, you took out Paul Heyman. I don't have Paul Heyman anymore for now. I am here. I have no idea why I'm here. I don't know what I'm going to do. But right now, I'm here. He was watching the crowd. Every 57,000 people that were in there were screaming and standing up. And his whole execution to it, from when he gave the Superman punch, to when he gave the spear, to when he looked at Cody, to when he left the ring, to when he pointed at his chest, was gold perfection.
Cinema.
It was fantastic.
Cinema, baby.
It was cinema, but it shows to you how he is as a WWE superstar, main eventer. Right now,
he's a needle mover.
He is probably the most over. Everybody that hated him, everybody that booed him, everybody that wanted Cody Rhodes as the champion, now is back with Roman Reigns. They were chanting, "Thank you, Roman." The whole piece of that was executed a solid 10 on 10. It was great. I loved every moment of it. I wish I could go to sleep tonight and wake up Friday at 7:59 to see what's going to happen on SmackDown. You could skip Raw. I want to see what the fuck is going on with Roman Reigns.
SmackDown, they do with a fight, and Raw is more like, if you're interested in the storylines, I feel like that's what Raw is. Raw is every backstage cuts, everything.
But it's longer. Matches. They have more time to do that. SmackDown has a loaded roster. It's only 2 hours. You gotta get the rest of it.
Give me 2 hours of Roman Reigns in the ring. That's all I give a shit about for this Friday. Derek, what did you think? You were actually very quiet during this. By the way, we watched it together. You were super quiet.
I just expected more.
What did you expect?
Just expect him. I'm done with Cody Rhodes. I don't believe Cody Rhodes as champion. Never believe Cody Rhodes as champion. We're talking about stale milk. We'll talk about stale milk characters. Cody Rhodes is stale milk. That's it. It's as simple as that. He keeps posing as the pretty boy. He keeps walking around as though he's untouchable. He's the next best thing since sliced bread. And Solo Sikoa is trying to be the tribal chief, which we all know he's not the tribal chief. He's just a placeholder. And I will agree with Cavallo. I think the best way to introduce Roman Reigns was not to have Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa, because guess what? Solo Sikoa is not alone. Solo Sikoa is the bloodline. So if you're going to introduce Roman Reigns back, it needs to be old bloodline versus new bloodline. Because we all know what's going to happen. Roman Reigns is going to do something, then Solo Sikoa is going to show up, then Jacob Fatu is going to show up, and then the Loa is going to show up, and all that kind of jazz. And then Roman's going to be like, oh, guess I need to find myself a partner. And then we're back to the original circle of what is, who is going to be his mystery partner? We all know who it is. Just get rid of it. Yeah. Just get rid of it. I would have much rather Paul Heyman's music hits. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and does this little thing, and everyone's like, oh shit, is he coming back? Is he coming back? Is he coming back? And then bang, it hits. That has more impact. It shows that there's people behind him, because right now he's back, but he's alone. Is Solo Sikoa afraid of Roman Reigns alone? No, because he's got everyone behind him. So, but regardless of that, I was just not looking forward to that match to begin with. I'm done with Cody Rhodes. Solo Sikoa is not doing anything for me. And I'm genuinely just afraid of when this new bloodline sort of thing crashes and burns. I'm just really worried that all of the superstars involved in that new bloodline, they're going to fall into oblivion, never to be heard of again. Because Jacob Fatu, as good as he is in the ring, on the mic, absolute horseshit. Solo Sikoa is not doing anything on the mic, and he's weak in the ring. So eventually, you're going to have to find a way to have this new bloodline sort of stand out and have the individuals within the collective stand out, because when this all falls apart, if they're nothing without their team, then they're nothing. And that's what I'm worried about. I always look to the future and seeing when all hell breaks loose and shit hits the fan, and that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about those superstars who they paid good money to bring in, who look dominant. All of a sudden, what's going to happen? Jacob Fatu is not good on the mic. Then you need to find a manager for him. You know, so
who is Roman Reigns going to bring back? Like Jey Uso's on Raw. So let's say he doesn't come to SmackDown. Who's going to be on the original team besides Jimmy? Are you going to bring in more of the family members? You're going to bring back The Rock?
You're going to bring Jay is going to jump over to help Roman. It's going to be them three. Yep. And maybe Sami Zayn. No. I hope not, because it's going to be a waste of time, because he's not Samoan and he's
That's
not part of the
insane.
family. He's
But
just
he
the
was-
side.
he was
He's
there,
the
though,
he's the
before.
side chick you bang a couple of times and then you leave her in the dirt.
Not the dirt.
I see Umaga
It's a little
Sunday.
harsh.
I heard them talking about Umaga Sunday, and I see him in the crowd. He was at Summer Slam. So I'm like, maybe they might be trying to sign him, bringing more of the family members, which
Look.
is too much.
Let me say this way. If you would have brought back Jimmy and Jay with Roman and Paul, it would have just been this till Survivor Series or till whatever the Bloodline versus the new Bloodline goes. Now, if you bring Roman Reigns back, Roman Reigns is here saying, hey, look, I'm alone. You've said shit about me. Okay, let's put Cody Rhodes to the side for to the side for 5 minutes. Okay, let's do this. I'm here. He is eventually not going to be able to take on all of them. He's going to have to go recruit the other ones, or the other ones are going to have to come and help him. You're building the story. You're stretching the elastic until it's finally the new Bloodline versus the Bloodline. Roman Reigns, the way he walked to the ring last night was like, okay, I have no one. I'm alone. My wise man is not here. This guy's talking shit about me. I'm here. Let's go. Let's go.
But one last thing though, but we don't know if the new Bloodline is even against Roman Reigns. We just know that Solo Sikoa has been talking about Roman Reigns, but we don't know if they're gonna just automatically stay on Solo's side. If Roman Reigns say, "Y'all come join me because I'm the original head of the table," we don't know how that even goes. We don't know who's really in charge.
Stretch it. Pause.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and because the Sami Zayn bloodline, thing that lasted a very long time. So the writers over there are good with stretching a bloodline storyline. If they start right now, they can drag this to Survivor Series. Survivor Series is only 3 months away, so that it can work. They know how to stretch out. And Roman Reigns is never back full time. He's not going to be there every week.
What's
He might miss.
What's Dean Ambrose doing these days?
He's somewhere bleeding. I don't know.
He's somewhere.
I
Fuck,
don't know.
is
He's
that?
somewhere having horrible matches.
He's in New Japan. I don't know.
He's going to be having horrible matches for a company that we've never heard of. You know, might as well. I don't know.
Right?
He wants a
play-
street fight. He wants to have street fights.
but maybe, just maybe, the new Bloodline
see
versus
him.
the Shield.
I don't see that. I don't see him ever returning to WWE. I don't. I think he's happy the way he's wrestling.
listen.
I don't see it happening.
Hell froze over with Punk.
Yeah.
That's different, though. That's different.
If Vince McMahon is gone, Triple H could do wonders, and I think we're in for a ride for a very long time.
To Derek's point, Cody Rhodes has been. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed towards the end Damian Priest championship run more than Cody Rhodes. Like, I get it. He's over, but he has who he's defended against in the pay-per-view. He has 2 against AJ Styles.
Phenomenal matches, by the way.
Yeah, they were. Against
Logan
Solo
Paul,
Sikoa,
phenomenal
Paul,
match. So
and Solo Sikoa. It's like I want.
But you know what it was?
I don't
The
know what it is
bloodline was
about-
involved, though. The bloodline was involved with other things. I feel like people are just tired of the bloodline and Cody Rhodes. Maybe because it's been 2 years or a year and a half or something. Maybe we just
But
need
what
something
about-
totally fresh with him.
Cody Rhodes needs to fight Randy Orton. We need the Viper Randy Orton.
I can see that.
Derek, you just spit it out. You want to say?
I just want to add something. It kind of has to do, but really doesn't kind of have to do. What happened to a finishing move being a finishing move?
Oh, I was gonna say
Do
that.
now like
Bro,
all finishing moves requires a
said
minimum
that.
of four consecutive
I
finishing
hate
moves in
that.
a row?
I'm glad you brought that
That-
up. What
Oh my
happened
God.
to the move in between that was almost like a finishing move?
Yeah,
Didn't get the pin count, but then you did your finisher and you only needed it one time.
like
Like the only time
the Cody Cutter is an RKO. I mean, who are we kidding? That's literally what it is. And he needs minimum of what's his finishing move called? His final one?
The
Cody
Cody,
Cutter?
the Cody Cutter. You're talking about the
No,
one
no,
from the top.
No, that's the one from the top. How about the other one? What's it called?
his
the
finisher. What is it called?
Crossroads.
Crossroads.
The crossroads. He needs a minimum of 3 crossroads to put away someone. What happens when he fights a bigger guy? He'll need 4, and then he'll need 5, and then what's going to happen? He's going to be Jey Uso just super kicking people. Like we don't need that. If you need 3 of your finishing move, it might be time to like find another
But that's-
finishing move.
But that's everyone these days, though. Everyone does.
But that's a
super
problem.
kicks.
No, yeah,
Everybody
but
does
that's the
super kicks.
problem.
And then I know that's a problem, but where is it happening? Where did it originate at? Everybody started doing it on the indies, and now we have all these indie wrestlers who always been known to do super kicks. And they kick out a move and then they come right back, or I don't
It's
like
gotta
it.
change.
I never liked it, but
It's
I
annoying.
don't see
How
it
many
anymore.
times did Undertaker have to do a tombstone?
Once.
Unless it was against Kane or Brock
Unless
Lesnar,
it's
but
against Kane or Brock Lesnar, he did it twice.
But
that
ultimately,
makes sense.
when he did that finishing move,
Right.
it was game over.
Yeah, that was game
It was
over,
game
yeah.
over. I think they should. Personally, I just think they should bring that back, or
I
at least
that.
have wrestlers reinvent themselves. In my personal opinion, unless you're an iconic superstar like a Shawn Michaels, like an Undertaker, like a Triple H, where like you are your finishing move, you are the setup to your finishing move. Reinvent yourself. You're with another professional athlete. Listen, there's been enough finishing moves done in the history of wrestling that you could find a twist, you could find a little something, a little spark, bring something new to the table, bring back submissions for Christ's sake.
Right.
Bring back submissions, bring back something along those lines to add something more exciting. Randy Orton does the same thing. He does the snap suplex, and he does the DDT off the second rope, and then RKO 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes the same thing. I just personally in the ring, I just want them to start spicing things up a little bit, start with new move sets, start bringing things that are a little bit different. So that way it feels exciting. That way, instead of feeling like every time I watch Cody Rhodes matches the same goddamn thing, maybe he'll do something different. Why is Logan Paul so exciting? Because every match with Logan Paul is a different Logan Paul. He has a different move set. He brings new moves to the ring, new things off the top turnbuckle. We need a little bit of injection of freshness in the matches.
That's why I like Io Sky. She does everything.
Okay, so before he starts with Io Sky, how do you guys feel about the 2 count? How do you guys feel about the 2 count? I feel like every match now, when it gets to the end, they do a 2 count and they kick out of it, like out of every move. That irks my nerves. It could be a finisher, it could be 6 signature moves. They wait till the ref does like this and they kick out. And it's like, even back in the day, they never did that. Like, you wait until the end and we know it's about to end and they get the finish. Why is it the last 10 minutes 2 counts? All 2 counts.
It's for the crowd. It's to get the crowd.
Yeah.
It's good.
They should already be into it. They should already be into the match from the get-go. It should be an entertaining match, not 2 count. If a 2 count gets the crowd,
that's a great point, because a pin should be a holy shit moment. Like, they should beat each other. Like, have you guys ever played the WWE game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
who pins a guy unless his body is fully red?
Right. Yeah.
No one. You wait until he's broken and then you pin him, because you're guaranteed to get it. If you want to get the fans involved, not having a pin, having 300 pins in a match does nothing. You're like, it's the first pin, nothing's gonna happen. If they don't pin all match and there's only 3 pins in the match ish, and they all happen after 15 minutes, every one of them can be a final pin. That's what we need, and I think that's a great point you make about it.
I hate that first early pin. Like, it's a simple move, and then they go for a pin.
Yo, I hate that. No one's getting excited. No one is standing up. When I go to wrestling shows, I never stand up. I don't stand up until the very end. I will never stand up at a wrestling show and actually count along, knowing that they're gonna kick out at 2.
Never.
One count.
Never.
They do a simple move, bro. 1 count.
I only really stand up when it's time to boo Sami Zayn or scream and call him names in his home country. Boys, before we get up out of here, we have our guest here. We always do this with the guests. We're going to play the game, the top 5 in 5 seconds, Cavallo. You ready?
Okay, wait, top 5 what, wrestlers right now?
Whatever I ask you, it's the top 5 in 5 seconds.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Top 5 favorite tag teams. Go.
Usos. I like the Creed brothers. I like the New Day, and
that's 3. You got 2 more.
Oh my God, who's tag teams right now? Montez Ford and what they call
Jello Dawkins.
Street Profits. Yeah, Street Profits. And I like AOP. I wish they put them more.
AOP. Top 5 favorite matches all time.
All time. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, both years, 25 and 26. CM Punk and John Cena, Money in the Bank 2011. I like CM Punk versus Undertaker at WrestleMania, and I also like the first Elimination Chamber, 02.
Yes, Survivor Series 02 when Shawn Michaels won.
Yeah, when Shawn Michaels won. Yeah.
Top 5 favorite wrestlers all time.
Undertaker, Bray Wyatt, CM Punk, Randy Orton, and I'll add in Eddie Guerrero.
Wow. Wow.
I like that. Bray Wyatt though was
Bray Wyatt.
I was a really, really big fan of Bray Wyatt. Like,
Yeah,
I
same.
really love Bray Wyatt.
Same.
Like,
Cavallo, it was a pleasure having you for the SummerSlam review. Thank you for being here. We'll have you more and more for the wrestling. The other two,
Steven is trying to fill his what you call it, his affirmative action quotas.
Shut up, Trap.
Next we're gonna have a,
your
next,
cousins.
Next we're gonna have a woman on.
Please.
I'll let you do the introduction.
Too many black people.
Okay.
Then there's gonna be a woman next.
Oh god. Anybody like that?
Trap and Derek, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Subscribe and like.
That at the beginning.
Press that button. Comment. You know, tell us what you think. Tell us what you like. Tell us what matches you like. Tell us what you want to see on the podcast. We bring you nothing but the best in hip hop and wrestling, all combined in one. If you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Like and subscribe.
Peace.
Peace.